Hello, everybody, and welcome to Spitfire Poetry Shutdown. I am your host, John Hansboro. It is October 20th, 2021. We're a little bit later than my normal time. Normally, we're on at 7. We had to push it back a little bit. The producer, Lady J, shout out to Lady J and Erica, Lady J, Butterfly Entertainment. This is being brought to you by the way. She was covering a play that you guys want to check out at Arena Plays. I believe is November 20th and 21st. You want to check that out. Um, how's everybody doing tonight? Ours is a special guest, special show. I've been waiting for this show for a while. We have my sister, author, poet Shakespeare, on the show this evening. How you doing, sis?
Hey, bro, what's going on? Hey, everybody.
I'm good. I cannot complain. I can't complain. Right now, I'm great because we about to do some poetry. I'm about to hear some poetry. So it's like that just helps me in so many different ways. I was at a open mic. Shout out to my guy, Desmond Guy. I was
Oh,
at an open
yeah.
mic.
That was Monday.
Yeah, I went to that open mic, and I swear I really, I felt different when I left than I did when I showed up. You know what I
That's how
mean?
his shows always is. That's how his
Yeah,
shows always
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Always.
The vibe is
Never left
great, you know.
disappointed. Never
Right,
left disappointed from his show.
right. And I just love the vibe, period. You know, when we all get together and just, you know, do our natural healing, because that's what it is to me. Um, Before we get started, I just want to do a couple little things real fast. You can get my book Unusual Favor on Amazon or on any of my social sites, Instagram, Facebook. You can check me out on there. I can get it to you that way, either way you want it. Also, our special guest tonight has a few books out. This is just one of them. Uh, but she has a few books out. She is a published author and a wonderful poet. You definitely want to get this. I believe it still is available on Amazon. DNA, you want to get this book. It's
It
really
is. It is.
this is a good read. Definitely something good to take to work with you. Um, so how you been, sis? What's going on? How are you?
Oh, I've been blessed and highly favored in my calling, as you
I
know,
hear
as
you.
I do. Um, well, like you said about the books, since you brought up the books, part 2 is done. I just want to put
Yes,
that out there. Part 2 is done.
yes. I
But
can't wait.
this is what I'm going to do on your show. If it's okay with you, can I do this?
Absolutely. This is a Spitfire. Um, this is a Spitfire segment right now. So
So this is what I want to do. To your most two, you get to pick two loyal. How can I put this? Family members, because everybody is family. We all family.
got
Two
you
of
right.
your loyal supporters.
Absolutely.
If they can name one poem that if I done, I will give them a free copy of my book before book 2 come out.
Sounds like a debt to me. Y'all heard it first. If you can name any one of Arthur Poet's poems, and there's a few people on my friends list on social media who follow you and know you. They knew you before I even met you. You know, really, because when I first had you coming to my shows, they was like, "Oh yeah, I know her." I'm like, "Wow." Um, but yeah, y'all heard it first. You want to check it out. You know, you want to check it out. You want to follow her on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere you can. You know, she's a dope poet. She's just everything. She's everything. You definitely one of my favorite poets,
Thank you.
sis. I tell you that all the time. So, um, before we get into other things you got going on, what else? Let me see. So DNA 1, you got 2 is ready to come out. That is awesome. I can't wait for that. You gotta let me know when you do the uh release or whatever or the signing, you know what I mean?
Oh,
I
you're
was
going
at
to
your
be a
books.
part of it. You're going to be a part of it.
I
You're going to
remember
be a
when you
part of
did
it.
this one. I remember when you did this book signing. You know, my girls still remember that. My
I
my
look.
oldest my oldest is Jalon is 12. My youngest is 9. She'll be 10 the
Mm-hmm.
end of this month. I mean the end of December. And I brought them with me to your book signing
Yep.
on purpose because I wanted them to experience that and see, you know, what it looks like for someone that looks like them to accomplish
Mm-hmm.
something like that. You know, so I appreciate you having me in that space and just having me in your life, period. You know, as a brother, as a friend,
Of course.
you know, I definitely
Of
appreciate
course.
it.
Same here.
Absolutely.
Like I said, when you had hit me up that morning, it was like, sis, it's a family show. Can my girls come? I'm like, yes, please,
Right,
please, please, because I want every little black girl who ever had a door shut in their face or a no been told to them that you can turn that no into a yes.
right,
If you
absolutely.
use your color, and I keep telling little black girl, if you use your color right, you can get anything in this world that you want. We allow our color to shut us out because that's what we do. Once we hear that no word, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't do it. No, 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 no. If people knew exactly what I've been through with that book and what I lost, people look at me like, I can't believe you write another one. Yes, I'm going to write another one, and I'm going to write another one, and I'm going to write another one until the day I
Exactly,
close my eyes. So if
exactly.
you don't like it, then I guess you have to talk that up with God because He gave me this power and this gift. And it is a power because everybody that I talk to from book one, bro, is so crazy because they be like, oh my God, I feel your characters. Like, I know your characters. I know somebody like this character. I'm like, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
That's what I want
yeah.
to do.
I still haven't completely read your whole book, but I will tell you the character. I don't want to give it a bunch of it away, but the I know it's funny you say that because I know a couple characters like the one that's the guy who is let's just say he works there and he's friends with the boss or whatever. The guy that's like,
Roger.
you know, yeah, you know what I
Roger.
mean?
That's everybody's
Um,
favorite. That's everybody's favorite.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you definitely, I mean, you're blessed with not only with your poetry, but with the pen and your writing because it's a story. Like soon as when I started this book, right, the first
Mm-hmm.
5 to 10 pages, you know, it pulled me into it. It really did. It pulled me in
Yeah.
because I wanted to know what the chick was doing, what the guy was doing, things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature.
Oh,
So,
wait
you
till
know,
you read book two. When I,
yeah,
it's so crazy because I'm going to do a sit and tell for book one before I release book two. So that way everybody can come ask you questions
right,
or make up your own idea what book two is going to be like. But when I tell you, I opened the floodgates. I was, I had to stop so many times from writing book two because it scared me. Because I'm like, wow, like this is really a whole story, like a whole
hmm,
movie. And I had
right,
to stop and I had to talk to God so many times, like, God, you sure? Like, if you don't continue on writing, did I tell you to stop? Keep going.
right, right,
It took me, the first book, it took me about a year. No, I'm going to say 4 years to get everything done. Maybe a little longer than that. But with book two, it only took me 6 months to write. Like, I'm done. Finished.
hmm,
Done with it.
hmm.
But I
Awesome,
think everybody is going to like book two because everybody's story is coming out.
right,
But I will tell you this, somebody is really going to pay the cost. Somebody is going to meet Judgment Day. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure why. And even I wrote it, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm like, did I write that right? Yeah, that makes sense. But I'm telling you, after people read book one and they go into book two, it's going to have them hooked. Point blank.
what did that do for you when you first wrote the book? Like what did that do for you? How did that make you feel? You know what I mean? When you after you finished that.
Oh, it boosts my confidence. So you can't tell me nothing.
Right.
I was bragging. You couldn't tell me nothing. Like I wasn't even going to write it, but shout out to my homies up in PA. I was writing like little poems for them.
Hmm.
And I think Christy was the one who gave me that. It was either Christy or Sarah, one of them. And they said, you should turn this into a book. I said, I ain't writing no book. And she kept on pressuring me, you got to write a book. I'm like, I'm not writing no book. I'm like, you have the potential and the material to write a book. And they stayed on me. When I say day in, day out, you finish writing, he goes to my ideas. He goes to my ideas. After I finally typed everything and I put the words the in at the end, I said, I did that. I did that. You couldn't tell me nothing. You could not
Right.
tell me nothing. You would think I rubbed elbows with Maya Angelou and some of the greats after I wrote that, but you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, yeah, Oprah going to see me on her couch. I'm going to be
Yeah,
Oprah's book
that's a
club.
but
I
that's a
still
that's a
say
that's
this.
a great accomplishment though. You know, especially when it's something that you've been working for so long. You know what I mean? I definitely could attest to that. It's definitely a great accomplishment, and a good feeling, and it inspires you to do more. You know what I mean? I
Exactly.
was just thinking the other day, you know, I'm like, I got about what six or eight of the ISBN numbers that we use for the
Mm-hmm.
booking. I'm like, I
Yes,
need to fill them up.
indeedy.
You know what I mean? I need to fill them up.
You think I'm not
Um,
filling mine up? You think I'm not filling mine up?
right,
I'm
right.
using everyone. I have
So
three, like, full books
without
coming up.
without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into some poetry because I know the people who are watching definitely want to hear you spit. Some of your fans, some of my fans, some of everybody. If you from this city and you know and you listen to poetry, you heard of Arthur Polar Shakespeare. If you haven't, you must be living under a rock or something because she's a force to be reckoned with. So we just gonna let her go ahead and do her thing tonight. Like I said, sis, I appreciate you being on. It's like a
Thank you for
blast in the
having me.
past. You know, when we used to do our things at Glory Days and all the
Uh,
other venues, you was always there for me. So I appreciate that.
so this poem is from the book DNA, but Dead Niggas Association. It ties in with DNA 1 and DNA 2, but this is James' story on why he is the way he is. That's one of the
Mhm.
main characters.
Right.
So this is what I wrote for him. I'm not the one to confess my sins, but I know I need to drink the holy water in order for my demons to heal. I'm not sure why God called me to this calling, but I know He'll bring me up because He said He'll protect food and babies. It's been a long time coming since I've been in diapers, but I know I'm a fool. I'm not saying I'm the type of fool that will always neglect the fact that God is calling me, but I am a fool that neglect the fact that I need Him more. I'm not understanding why my life turned out like this, or maybe I'm the reason why it's upside down like this. But I know there's a calling. Again, I'm not confessing my sins because we are not done yet. It's my growth. So I need them to accompany me where I'm going. I'm not always positive, I'm not always negative, but somewhere along that realm, I'm always in focus. I'm not sure why, but I know on this journey, God got me. So, God, I ask you to please protect your fool as I go on this last journey. In peace.
Awesome. Awesome. And what you see, what now was that a freestyle? Because
Yeah.
you, I'm about to say you one of the first poets, definitely, who
Mm-hmm.
introduced me to freestyle poetry because you know what I mean? Freestyle rap and all that, yeah, but like the poetry to just spit off the top, just making it, you know, mesh together and all that, that's a gift. It's definitely a gift. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
definitely a gift. Um, but I love that. I love the poems when you like when you're talking to God and you're also talking to yourself in a third
At the
person.
same
You got
time.
a couple
Mm-hmm.
poems like that. You know what I mean? And I love how you twist that up. You know, I really do
I
that.
be trying.
I love it. No, you do it, sis. I love it. I love it. Man, one of my favorite poems that you got is one that's called Wordplay.
Uh,
You
there was
remember that?
another freestyle. That was the freestyle. I gotta remember that because everybody, you know what? It's so funny because Mike, shout out to Big Bro Mike. He asked me
Michael
the last
Watkins,
time I
definitely.
had some. Yup. The last time I seen him, he said, "Hey, what's up with that wordplay?" I said, "You know, I forgot all about that."
Yeah, that was you
I
rocked the
gotta bring
show
it.
that night with that one. That was
I
that
gotta
was
revamp that one. I gotta definitely revamp that one and bring that back. Then only because you like it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
how often are you writing? Do you write every day? Like I know you're pretty busy. So how do you get it in to get the writing down?
When I'm at work, sometimes I
Yeah.
have a pen and a pad, and if I'm on the telephone, and if I'm like, hold on, please. So if anybody calls Walmart pharmacy, and if I tell you to hold on, 9 out of 10, I'm writing something real quick. But you be all right though. It don't be that long. It
Right.
don't be that long. But if something hit me, I have to write it down. I mean, I can talk
Right.
it to my phone, but it's not intimate as me writing it down. Shakespeare once said, if ever my words was to die, I prefer to die on paper because then I know that love is true and can be seen. Meaning, if you can see my words, then you know I love you. That's why I told her, I told one of my closest friends, she's getting ready to get engaged. And her thing is, I don't know if you've seen a post that I put up about the ring, is the price of a ring really important? So when I had asked her, I said, "Was the ring that important?" She said, "Yes. If it's not certain amount of carats and this and that, then I don't want it." So I'm like, "But where is the love? So you can put a
Right.
price on love in the ring." So she
Right.
said, "Well, when you get married, don't you want a big ring?" I don't want a ring. I want a pin and a pad. So when the person proposed to me, I want them to propose to me with a pin and a pad.
Right.
That's the only way I'm going to accept it. I've never been big on jewelry, and I feel like this. I'm going to lose the ring because I'm not big on jewelry, but a pin, I'm going to carry my pin everywhere I go. So you never have to worry about me leaving my pin. Then I feel it's more interesting because every day that we're together, I'm going to write you a love poem with this pen, just to
Wow.
let you know how appreciative I am. What can you do with a ring besides red? Okay, that's fine, but then you're going to see something big and better. You're not going to find words as deep as mine. I don't care where you look at. So that's what you're going to wake up to. So I hope my future husband accepts that, because that's what he's going to wake up to and go to sleep to. Poem. So if I'm mad with you, you know what kind of poem you're going to get. Either way, you getting a poem. You're
You
going to
do
get.
that? Do you write just about in any emotion, mad, happy, sad, whatever? You know what I mean?
I
I
have
do the
to.
same.
I
Yeah.
have to, because that's the only way I can. A lot of people that I do talk to, oh, you going overboard, you doing too much. But every time I put it, it seems like whenever I put my emotions in a poem, people are like, "Oh, that's really dope." I'm like, "That's how I really feel right now." But y'all don't notice it. But thank you for listening, though.
I think it's important. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something first, and this is why I really love this thing so much, because I just realized and had an affirmation of this Monday when I was at Desmond's open mic. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, just not being afraid to share what we deal with in our poetry. You know,
Right.
sometimes, and I know I'm gonna say I do it because I have a few poems that I've written that it's like I don't want to share that type of shit, but it's so honest and real. I know that I should at times because there's somebody that it could
They
hit.
need it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I know that to be true because it's done it. I've had it done for me where I've heard something from somebody else where it just clicked. I'm like, damn, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it really just made something come together. So I really do believe that, in the art form of it, we do have to be as free as we can with how we express ourselves and
Mm-hmm.
how we put it out there. In this day and time now with this cancel culture and
Mm.
all of these type of things that's going on, you know, it's hard to really say certain things. I'm old school. I come from a different time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So my pops and my uncles and elders and people above that was older than me said things. It was different than how it is
Right.
now. But now people are a lot more sensitive. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
I really do believe though that regardless, you need to just share it. Whatever you got, whatever you feel, you have to share it because it can help somebody else. It definitely can help somebody else.
Definitely can.
So I know you got something else for me. What else you got? I'm anxious to hear that.
So
I haven't heard you in a minute.
So this month is not only breast cancer awareness, domestic
Mhm.
violence, but this month is also very special to me because I lost two babies through stillbirth. And this month is infant child pregnancy loss month. So I'm a
Oh,
big
okay.
advocate for that.
Mhm.
So I was just writing it down. And this is what I have so far. This is what I have. If my footsteps was big enough for you to lay in, I will walk this earth forever just so you can lay there. If my arms was wide enough as eagle wings, I would swallow you up and hold you in my heart until your heart beats. I'm not sure the reason why of your death, but I know it was here. You was put here for a reason. Even though I wasn't hurt, I didn't hear you whisper my name or say, "Mommy," I know you still love me just the same. If God would have told me that He would have gave me a beautiful creation and would have taken, I would not have believed Him. I know my angel is with me because every time I go through something, there's someone there to wipe my tears, and I know it's not me. It's not a tissue, it's not sharms, it's something more softer. It's my angel. I sometimes apologize for not being the perfect mother to my child that I'm supposed to be because of your absence. But I know you built me for tough just so I can be there for her. I'm not understanding why the lump in my stomach was aborted by miscommunication of the signals of heartbeats and nurses' screams. I'm not sure why I had to get cut open just to realize that I'm outgoing of emotions and I didn't know that my life would be taken. When you left this earth, I left this earth, and people look at me like I'm crazy, like I'm not supposed to remember. But the day that I held you in my arms will be the day that I will always be remembered. I'm not understanding when I will see you again, but I know you see me always. I have gone to your gravesite countless times, hoping you would sit on your tombstone, waiting for me to pick you up. But I know that's only a reality that only God will make happen. Until I cross the lines and I see you were there, I know you will be bare-faced and I will be bare arms, hoping that one of us can connect on a most intellectual level. I'm not saying that I'm going to cry. I'm not saying that I'm going to be happy, but I would say this. When I put you in that grave, somehow you took my mess. I'm not sure if I was supposed to be a better woman, if I was supposed to just let it go, but I know through my trials and struggles, I am a stronger person because you are on my left side and your sister's on my right. So there's nothing more that I need to worry about as long as I know I have your shining light in peace.
Damn, sis, that's awesome. That's deep. There's so many. That's deep. I love it. I love it. Um, I may have asked you this before, but poetry, when you write it, is this something for you that helps you? Is it therapeutic for you too?
It is. That's the only way I can communicate. And a lot of people don't know this. When I was growing up, people used to try to bully me because of my size. And
Mhm.
for a while, I didn't have a voice. And I remember sitting in the fifth grade class, and my teacher said, instead of you always launching out at people, won't you try a different approach? So I was in class one day, and one of the guys, you know how guys like to bully on the females. So I was sitting in class, and he pushed me. I said, okay, I'm going to let that slide. So he pushed me again. So my teacher looked at me, she said, channel your anger somewhere else. So I wrote him a note. And it was the Dr. Seuss from, what I say, roses are red, violets are blue, your nose is blood because of my fist. And my teacher said, I'm not talking about like that. I said, what? You taught me to express myself. And
Right.
then from there on, I just started writing and I just became better. Like, I keep telling you, stop playing. And my teacher said, I told you to write how you feel. That is how I felt when I punched him in the nose right now. Don't tell me to express myself, but then then try to tell me how to. But ever since then, I just been writing how I feel. Writing how I
Yeah,
feel.
you know what? See, I love this. Okay, now you sitting here just saying that to me. One of the things and that like drew me to you, or that really like made me be inspired by your poetry, is the way that you come across, or the way that you come at it. It's like, it's not really crazy aggressive, but it's like, I know I can do this and I'm going to do it. I'm here. This is my space. I'm safe. I'm about to spit some shit. Like, I've seen you on I've seen you do it in person. I've seen you do it. I've seen a couple of videos where you've been at venues and guys are doing freestyle rapping and stuff like that, and you just come right in, you know what I mean, and just like it just it's no fear. It's no
It's
fear. That's the only
none.
way I can put it. It's just no fear. You know what I mean? And when you said that about that story about being bullied at one time when you were younger, I wonder if that's the reason why you just so hard with it when you come, because you do. I mean, you are not. I love when I saw you do this, and I saw Black Chakra do this one time too.
That's my cousin.
Yeah. Oh, really? Where you do your poetry and you just walk through the crowd. You did it at one of my events. When we was at Glory Day, you were doing your poetry and you were just walking through, you know what I mean? And that gives up the people so much of that feeling of you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a
I
beautiful thing.
can, whenever somebody invite me out to speak, first of all, I take it as an honor because you could have chosen anybody else. But
Yeah,
you trusted me with entertainment.
right.
And I was told, how can you talk for the people if you can't talk to the people? I can't sit here and make a whole bunch of poems and say I know what you feel like if I'm not intimate with you in your space. So that's one reason why I walk around. There's so many people that when I walk around, they stop me and be like, I needed to hear that. I needed to hear that. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
needed. Like every time I do woman, wife, friend, it seemed like I don't care how old that poem gets, it's somebody in the crowd that said, I needed that. And I had to be honest, I had a lot of guys that say, sis, I respect you because of that poem. I had to take a look at myself as a man and change who I am for the woman that I'm with. So I'm like, my poems do
Deep.
touch people. My
Yeah.
poems do, when anytime I can do a poem about how a woman is being mistreated by a guy and she still stays, and I have a guy come see me like, I'm gonna change my ways. I can't do this. I'm gonna change my ways. That means a lot.
Yeah, that's
That
deep.
means
That's
a lot.
deep shit. Yeah, that's
Like
deep.
I'm telling you,
One of the poems you do, I forget the name of it, but shout out to Natalie, our sister Natalie. Oh God, I do not want to mess her last name up. Shout out to her husband. That's my man. Her name is Natalie. I believe they pronounce it Graffy or Giraffe.
right?
But that poem that you do where she sings, my mother love every time. She always asks me about that. You know, she loved that one. That
Oh, what you
poem.
say? Get your house
Get
in
the
order.
house in order.
In
Yes.
order.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, my mother
And I
loved it.
and I
My
start
mother
from which
loved it.
room, like which room do you want me to clean? Like what room do you want me to get in order for my house to be in order?
What inspires you to pick the pen up though? Like just any type of day where you just drop, on your way to work or on your way home or talking to your daughter, something like what is it that inspires you to say, you know what, I'm gonna start to write about this or that?
It's a story. My whole life is a story. And my imagination, even when I was little, I'm writing a poem called Let My Imagination Be Free. And that's for little kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a niece that's 3, and her imagination runs wild. And I get so mad when my sister-in-law, I'm like, oh my God, you acting like a baby. Grow up, grow up. I'm like, no, she's not. She's acting her age. Let her have an imagination. Like when she
Right.
came to me, she said, Auntie Trisha, I want to be Batwoman. I think you can be anything you want to be. Get her mom. Why are you telling her that? That's her problem. That's the problem with little children. They can't allow their imagination to save them from all their sorrow. You never know. I had an imaginary friend,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it helps me out a whole lot because nobody understood me like my imaginary friend did because they seen what I seen. I could write a story about a bird in a tree talking to a chipmunk. And everybody be like, wow, how you do that? I'm like, it's all what you make out of life. I can easily sit here and write poems like, oh, I'm so depressed. And okay, you write poems about that, but where are the poems that where you got from it, where you're dealing with it, where you're healing from it? We don't hear those poems. So I write poems. Like somebody said, I did a poem called Dating Myself. And a lot of people, I don't like that poem. I don't like that poem because how can you just date yourself? You're not giving nobody else the opportunity to love you. I said, if it means that I have to sell my soul for a human being to get a half of what I'm really worth, then I need to be by myself. I'm dating myself.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I tell everybody, if I'm dating you, I refuse to be a quarter of a woman just for you to be half a man. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's what I'm not
Dang.
about to do.
Right. Right.
I'm not doing it. So anything make me pick the pen up. I missed the bus. Oh, I gotta write about this. Or I got
Mm-hmm.
splashed by water. I gotta write. It's raining now, so I'm gonna write. I don't need a reason to write. I don't need a reason because I write in my sleep. I sleep with a notebook and a pen.
You
That's how
sleep
I
with it
sleep.
next to you in case you come up with something or something like that. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm And it's so crazy because I do my best writing when I'm asleep. All my ideas start happening in my sleep. Like half of my dreams, I come up with my poems because of a dream or something. So I write all the
Sometimes
time.
I get ideas in the shower for some reason. I don't know what
hmm
that's about. You know what I
hmm
mean? And I guess I need to start keeping something in there because I don't want to forget it by the time I get out. You know what I mean? It could be a phrase. Like I'll start to write from off of a phrase sometimes too,
Yep. Yep.
and then start my poem from there. You know, or recently I've been trying to just write and then you know, if I'm going to call it something, read it and then call it something later after I've already written
Mm-hmm.
whatever I was going through. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I do it
Mm-hmm.
both ways, like that, where I already have a title, and then there's times where I don't, and I'll just write it and then try to come up with a title
Yep.
from writing it. Um,
Yep.
a lot of in the city that we live in, there's so much going on with the kids and the killing and everything that's going on.
Oh.
You know, as a when you were introduced to poetry, you were a young lady,
Mm-hmm. That was 9, 10.
9 or 10. And what did that like open up doors for you? Because I believe, you know, I was speaking with someone the other night, and an older lady actually was telling me that um, you know, she would love to see more the spoken word. Well, basically, she was really generally talking to the brothers that were in the room um,
Mm-hmm.
on going out and talking to some of the youth that's in the street. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them, more than half, don't want to be doing what they're doing. People really don't realize that. You know what I mean? They really don't want to be doing what they're doing. But for some of them, and it's sad, but that's how they have to eat. That's how they have to do
Mm-hmm.
whatever's next. That's the way they get their necessities that they need right now. It's right now for them. It's not next week or no. It's I need it now. I'm
Yeah.
out here in the street right now. My mother not here or my father's not here or whatever. I'm out here by myself. So um, the writing and the spoken word, you know, is something that I would love to see more of in our city because I
Mm-hmm.
believe it
Mm-hmm.
can help some of these kids because I know there's some writers out there. There's a poet out there, there's a published author out there with a hell of a story, and they have no
Yep.
idea how to put it down. You know what I mean? They may be inspired by somebody, they don't even know how to go about it. You know, um, or
Yep.
having role models or anybody that they follow. I know you said that Maya Angelou was one of your favorite poets. Who else is a favorite poet of yours that
Nikki Gin Chicken Nikki Giovanni. I
I
love
love?
her.
I do too,
I
sis.
love her.
I'm gonna
And
tell
the
you
reason
something.
why these two women stick out to me because they always uplift. They always doing something to uplift women. Like when I was in the 6th grade, I believe, no, 7th grade, either the 6th or the 7th grade, one of them, and we had to do a poetry contest, and the principal, shout out to Dr. Andre Bunley, he said, "Look, I'm gonna tell you this. You can't be going around beating up on people. That's because they talk about you. You're either going to get on this mic, or I'm going to suspend you." And at
Mm-hmm.
that time, I was like, I ain't going home telling my mother that I got suspended from school. That's just not going to happen. I'm not.
Right, right.
So he said, you either write something or you pick a poem. So I was sitting there like, what can I do? And I did Phenomenal Woman. Never knew the impact that it would have in my life growing up.
Wow.
Never knew it. To this day, I hold that poem dear to my heart because people, oh my God, that's a nice poem. Like, but do you know what she was saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what she was saying? Like, I'm
Right.
working on a piece now called Society Stop Lying. And I'm calling, not really calling everybody out, but I'm just letting them know. Like, I heard so many people, so many African American women who say, I gotta get butt implants, I gotta get breast implants, I gotta get my lips done, I gotta get this. I'm like, but why? Because that's what society says. So I politely did a poem and telling everybody, like, please stop saying we're pretty. We know we are. We don't need nobody dressed up in makeup. If you and I look at it like this, if you really feel like we are pretty, take your makeup off. Do a song without no makeup and show everybody how pretty you are then.
Natural
Because you're
beauty.
telling me, right, you're telling me that I'm pretty, but yeah, you got your face beat to the god. So how can I accept that? I can't accept that from you. Because you known to walk the runway. The camera loved you. You get what I'm saying? Like, No. If you really want to let women know how beautiful they are, then take off the makeup once in a while. Do a photo shoot with no makeup, so everybody can see just how natural you are. And I guarantee you, a lot of them is not going to do it.
I think
A lot of them not going to do it.
social media, you know, I don't know. I don't think people really realize how much it really impacts our lives, social media. You know what I mean? Especially for the ones who really, you know, there's some people who are really into it. They own it all day. Stuff that's their preference, whatever. You know what I mean? But that's all I see that on TV, on social media. You know, everything is provocative. All the women have to be. Why do they have to be twerkers all the time? You
All
know
the
why?
time. All the time.
Why do they have to go straight to that? You know, is it because that's how you feel a sense of you know, gratification or acceptance or whatever the case may be? That type of shit, it needs to be changed because it's just so out of control. Um, young children are even taking their own lives because of it. You know what I mean?
I was just about to say that it's
Yeah.
a poem, and it's one of my favorite poems. Um, Brave New Faces. I mean, Brave New Voices. I'm sorry, and it's it's young groups, it's young adults, teenagers. Bro, when you get the opportunity, go on YouTube and just type in Brave New Voices. When you hear the poems that these teenagers are spitting out about the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's going on with them, you will be in tears. It's a poem called Amber Alert. It's two young ladies. I forget where they from. And they talk about that. And when I say you gotta listen to the words that they are saying, my favorite line is when she says, smile pretty girl. At least I'm pretty enough for news coverage.
Mm.
You don't have to worry about putting on makeup and nothing for news coverage because nobody's not going to care. You just
Right.
another dead body.
Right.
But when I tell you that poem really hits hard, it hits hard because you really got to listen to how, like, they actually cried at the end, and you can tell it was not nothing that, oh, we're going to cry at the end. You can tell they
Right.
really felt that because
Right.
there's
Right.
so many women who commit suicide because of what people say, how people look at them, or how people treat them. You know, a lot of women fall victim because of that. And people don't realize some men do too. But it's like, oh, we can't
Absolutely.
talk about that. Don't talk about that. We're not
Absolutely.
allowed to talk about that. You know, like,
Mm-hmm.
but society has it where if you're not this shade, then you can't do this. If you're not this height, then you can't do this. Just like you have to be at least 5'9" or something like that in order to walk the runway. So somebody my size won't even get looked at. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, it's a Chinese lady. She's about my age, but she walks the runway, and she's like 2 inches taller than me. So I'm like, don't tell us what we can't do.
Right.
Please don't.
Right.
But
It's all in the
your
mind. It's
body,
all in your mind and your attitude. If you want to do it, you know, I believe. You know what I mean?
exactly. Just like what makes me
Yeah.
so mad with Chrisette Michelle. They've been asking her to speak to young women about getting butt implants because you know she's getting hers removed and she's getting her body fixed and everything. She won't do it.
Mhm.
She won't do it. And I'm like, that can save somebody's life. I mean, maybe she has her own reason why she don't want to talk about her story at this moment. But I'm like,
Right.
some little girl needs to hear that. There's some little girl right now in the back alley getting some bootleg butt implants because she feels like that's going to make her noticeable.
Right.
And I feel like it's time that since society crowns all these pretty women, let these women, let these little girls know, like, I've been through this. I had to go in the night just to look like this. It's not worth, like, give another little black girl a chance to make up her own mind of what she looks like. You know, stop showing like, oh my gosh, if I don't dress like this, that he's not gonna like me, or if I don't talk this way, that I'm not gonna be accepted in this group of people. No, mm-mm. My daughter's
Yeah,
in the 10th
absolutely
grade
right.
now, and she go to Western, and I have
Mm.
this conversation with her every day. If you feel like you need to change yourself, that's when me and you need to have a talk. When someone is taking you out of your comfort zone to make them
Right.
comfortable, we're
Right.
not doing that. That's what we're
Right.
not going to do.
Right.
No, we're not. Because
Is
first
your
of all,
daughter
I'm not a
interested?
parent.
Is your daughter interested in writing too?
She likes to draw. So we're gonna work on a book called Maggie and the Missing Shoe. That's my illustrator.
Okay.
That's my illustrator. I think my niece Bella, my youngest niece, I think she's going to be my writer. Out of all of my nieces and nephews, she's going to be the one. But no, my daughter, she's into drawing. She's not going to write it.
What would you say to that girl that's 14, 15, 16 years old who writes, don't share it with anybody, afraid to share it, you know, but she writes because it helps her. She may not even realize it helps her, but she does it. What would you say to that person who's afraid to share though, and afraid to put it out there
Your
to
voice
that
will
young
only be
girl?
heard if your voice will only be heard if you share it.
Right.
Even if you give it to it, even if you pass your poem on to a teacher for somebody else to read, your voice is still being heard. Even if you don't want to verbally say it, let somebody else read it. Because I was like that for a while when I used to write, and they used to scare me. Because I like when you speak it. And so one day I was told, I'm not going to keep writing your stuff. You're not no ghostwriter. No, you're not. You're going to speak this because it's not going to mean anything if it comes from me. It has to come from the
Right.
source itself.
Right. Exactly
So
right.
that's what I would tell that little 14-year-old girl. If you're scared of your skin, that means you need to love yourself even more, a little bit more harder. But you have to let your voice be heard because you never know. You can save somebody else, especially with all these suicides and mental illness. Because a lot of people are scared to talk about it.
Absolutely. Especially
They
mental
are scared to
illness. That's
talk
a
about
big
it.
one they're afraid to talk about, definitely. Um, I had a guy on the show, um, Walter. I don't want to say his last name wrong, but he did a
Mm-hmm.
poem about mental health, and he's actually a mental health educator as well.
Mm.
But he wrote a poem about things that he dealt with personally,
Right.
and it was
Right.
like it was amazing. I think that could be one way that we could um, bring mental health issues to the forefront for people who look like
Mm-hmm.
us. And I'm saying that through poetry because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when people hear things a certain way, or even in music, it makes them feel a certain way. It makes them think, or it makes
Yep.
them,
It
reminisce
does.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, Especially with spoken word and poetry, definitely. Before we get ready to get out of here, soon, says I'm gonna get you to do another poem for us. Which one of your favorites that you love to spit?
Oh my gosh, there's so many that I love to spit. So this is football season, right? And I haven't did football. No, they ain't ready for football yet. They not ready for football. I
Okay.
think I'm gonna do. I don't know. I don't know. I got so many.
Whatever you feeling.
All right. So this I did this one when I used to work at a nursing home.
Okay.
So it's called Nurse on Duty.
Okay.
Coming in at 7 in the morning, I know my shift is going to be a mess. I'm not sure what to do, but I know I'm ready for the test. As I gently knocked on the door, I can see it in his eyes that there's a lot of racism, but I'm not going to hold my tongue to speak it. I'm going to play this by ear. Hello, sir. I will be your nurse for today. How can I help you? Where are you from? West side of Baltimore. Is there anything that I can do for you? Where's your parents from? My father's from the west side of Baltimore, and so is my mother. Dukeland for my father and Parkite for my mother. Is there anything else that I can do for you, sir? No. Where are you from? Oh, you want to know why I talk like this while my tongue is so firm? Because I come from the place where the sun shines and the heartbeat is my heart. I come from where my skin is so shining that there's nothing that can outdo it, and America cannot shame my immensity. There's nothing that can make this glow. I come from the place on Kenya where there are kings and queens long before they even knew what kings and queens from, where diamonds are at our fingertips until someone decides to come into our real world and take them away. I come from the place where we was royalty before you could even speak the language of royalty, before we were stripped from it. That's where I'm from. I can't talk like that because you see that'll get me fired. So click it on, get the money, click it on. I'm Nurse Johnson for today. Would you like your ice water now, sir? In peace.
Oh God, I love it, sis. I love it.
That really happened. That really happened. I was at work and I was trying to do the vitals, and the guy kept on looking, where you from? So I'm telling him, like, no, where you from? I said, if I really tell you where I'm from, it'll make you sick, but I'm gonna give you a sneak peek of where I'm from. So
how do you do, I didn't mean to cut you off, but how do you do that freestyle poetry? I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. After I met you, I tried it a couple times. I'll be at home. I'm like, and it don't. I don't know
I
if
think
it's
about a
not for
topic.
everybody or what. When you gotta be
I
in a
just
certain
think about
mood.
something. I ain't gotta be a no. I can just do it at the top. Like I can just, well, I pinpoint something that I know somebody's gonna go through. Like for instance, I can use my mask. For instance, I can make a poem about my mask and how it can protect me. Not in the sense of what you think it is, but it can protect me from saying some stuff that'll hurt your feelings. So I'm gonna keep
Right,
my mask on, or I'm
right.
gonna use my mask to protect my face so it won't shatter your emotions right now. So it's like anything around me I will use. Like that's how instead of me being all ignorant with people, like when I'm at work and I gotta deal with customer service all day, I find a good way to incorporate my poetry in it. So if somebody would say something to me, okay. And my favorite line, I tell it every day, remember to smile when you want to frown. And one guy, he was so mean and nasty. He said, why do you always say that? And I was just so nasty because it's for my sanity. I have to remember to smile.
Right,
So even like, what
right.
you mean? I said, because if I don't smile, it's not going to be good to nobody. So I have to remind myself to smile when I want to frown. And I'm glad you took on to the hint. But yeah, I can write a poem about anything.
There's a comedian that I follow that I like who is a pharmacist, and he talks about his job and his comedy. Like it's so funny, it's ridiculous because he's just being honest about what he go through every day. But he it's the way he do it is so funny. Have you written anything poetic wise in to do with what you do for
Oh,
what you do at your pharmacy at work?
oh yeah, you haven't heard I'm Your Pusher. I did a freestyle called I'm Your Pusher.
I don't
And that's what
think
I
so.
talked about. No,
I think I may have heard that. I think.
I'm Your Pusher. And it's pretty much talking about the government, how the government will push these pills down your throat. But I'm really your pusher, not the government. I'm really your pusher. Because at any
Right.
given moment, we can say no. Like some of these functions, if we really would take a stand and say, no, we're not doing this. Same thing, they already have this big debate about HIV meds. Like they trying to get rid of them. And the reason why they trying to get rid of them because now that COVID, they got a bigger scale because it's more money. Believe it or not, it's more money with the pandemic with pharmaceuticals. So not a great play on it. But
Mhm.
I tell everybody, it's the cure for everything. It's man made it, and he has to find a way to cure it. Point blank, period.
Right.
Point blank, period.
Right.
But it's cancer and it's HIV and AIDS. They the biggest two sellers. They drop because more people are more worried about COVID than they are for HIV and cancer.
Right. Right.
So I had a guy that came in and he didn't want none of his meds. The only thing he wanted to do was get the COVID shot. And I'm like, but you need your blood pressure medicine. No, I don't. Just give me the COVID shot. I'm like, okay, I can only do what you tell me. Just like it's men that would get Viagra before they would get their blood pressure pills. And I seen that, hey, like, no, I'm like, you don't want your help? No, I don't want that. Give me this.
Damn. They say that
Like,
brother, you can put the blood pressure back. Give me the Viagra.
right, I'm dead serious. Like when I was telling him how much the medicine costs, and he was like, how much is this? And I told him, he was like, all right, put those back, give me that. I'm like, So you don't want your high blood pressure medication. You don't want your cholesterol medication. You don't want your diabetes medication. But you want this. So he was like, yeah, if I'm going to get up one last time, I might as well be happy. I was like, you know what? Okay. But a lot of people does that. And a lot of people don't take their medicines because they can't afford it.
Yeah, that's
They
another
cannot
thing. It's
afford
terrible.
it.
It's
They
terrible.
cannot afford it. Just like today, it broke my heart so bad when the lady came in and she needed her medicine and she was $2 short. I gave it to her because that's how I am. But I'm like, when I'm talking about, she was an elderly lady, like she had to be in her 70s. And I'm like, when they have to make a decision, they going to eat or take their
Right.
medicines,
Yeah, that's
something
sad.
ain't right.
Yeah.
Something's not right. And I'm like, but yeah, you have people in the jails. You can get your teeth pulled for $1. You can get all your medications free of charge. You can get all that free of charge if you get locked up. But when you out in these streets, you're gonna have to pay for it.
That's
And then they
crazy.
tax us more than what they tax people in the jail. Like, you know where our taxes go at their portion for the jail. They tax us more than they do them. And I'm like, I don't get it. So if I commit a crime, I can have rent free, 3 square meals. They might not be what I want to eat, but I can guarantee you 3 meals. But yet my great grandmother has to worry about if she's going to pay her light bill, the water bill, get food, or she's going to get on medication.
Right. Right.
Something ain't right with it.
It's not.
Something is not right.
Definitely not right. Everybody, y'all want to check out this book and many other books that she has written. What else you got going on? Tell us what you got coming up, sis.
All right, so I'm gonna have to talk to you off screen about this too. So I'm writing a book that's gonna be in between called Love Confession. I don't know if I told you about that. Love
I think
Confession.
so. Uh-huh.
This book is basically, it's not a self-help book, but it's just a guide for you to realize where you are in your life. Regardless if you're in a friendship, a marriage, relationship, it doesn't matter. It's pretty much how you get the intimacy back into your life with your spouse. Because once after the spark is gone, you can't get it back. It's like an old stove. The
Hmm.
paddles don't work. What you do? You throw it away.
Right.
So pretty much this book is talking about my relationship and how I dealt with it. So I'm writing that, and I'm also writing When Church Women Talk, Check Your Title at the Door Says. And that's pretty much, that's my church book right there.
Wait a minute. Let me hear that title one more time.
When Church Women Talk, Check Your Title at the Door Says.
Wow. I love it. I know that's going
So
to be
that's
good.
when the usher want to be the first lady want to be the treasurer. No. Everybody stick to your title. You may not know your name, but you know your title. So everybody act accordingly to your title. There's been a
You
couple
know,
times I've been at church and you got the
mhm.
choir members coming down with the ushers to do the money. I'm sitting there like, you sing. You don't count money. Why are you here talking about what? Never mind, it's a story. Then that's where my story's coming from.
Right.
Check your title at the door, sis. Before you come in here, you want to be sitting in the seat. Check your title at the door. Do you have
I know.
access to this?
I'm looking forward to that. I know that's going to be good. One of my first open mics was actually at a church, and you came and just ripped down a church. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. Seriously, I was like, wow. You know what I mean? You really came in and brought it. And like you do all the time. Whenever you're in front of the mic, you always bring it. That's what I love about you. You don't play with this thing at all. You really don't. You
Mm-mm.
take it seriously. And you live and breathe what you do. And I love it. I love it.
This is my
So
life.
look
This
out
is my
for
life.
yeah, look out for my sister's book DNA. It's available on Amazon. Look out for any other books and projects that she's doing and got coming up. You want to follow her on Instagram, Facebook, um, anything with dealing with social media. You want to check her out. Sis, I appreciate you being
Thank you.
on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. I always appreciate your love and support is so appreciated. I'm telling you, you have no idea. So I just want to thank
Thank
you for
you,
always
bro.
being there. You be safe out here, and I will definitely have
You
you
too.
back on soon. hopefully before you put that next book out, so we can promote the hell out of that. Because I'm looking forward to that. Anybody who already got this one, you know you need to get the second one. It's coming. So
Exactly.
this is a
Exactly.
very, very, very talented published author and poet, and you definitely want to check her out. Live right here
Thank
from Baltimore
you.
City. Arthur
Thank
Cola
you
Shakespeare.
so
Thank you, sis.
much.
You have a good night. I'll see you soon.
You too.
All
Okay.
right. All right.